Great. So, I'm not a big fan of introduction. I'm Dusan Trajkovic and I will be your instructor during this 1 month of out-of-body experience, what we call the course or school. Frankly, I'm not professional talker. I am not professional guide. I will just share everything that I know. And since the beginning of my interest of occult, astral projection was #1 topic in my life. And I believe the similar sense inside of you is the same as with me, because astral projection, it's much more than proof that we are something above this physical body. It is much more connected to our feeling and wish that we have from the beginning of the humankind, that we can fly, that we can be free from all kind of physical limitation. Now, you will see later when we talk about theory, although this course is strictly practical, but for today I beg you to at least 2 hours talk about the theory, not because I want for you to spare your time, but it is very important to realize that astral projection, it's not an occult science. It is ability, not anomaly of your mind. Realizing the procedures of astral projection or lucid dreaming or out-of-body experience, whatever you want to call this unique experience, it's much more closer to psychology, biology of the brain, chemistry inside of your skull than knowing occult or esoteric science, secret knowledge, and old, what in fact are not letting us achieve success. In the beginning, I practiced occultism all my life. To be frankly, esotericism and occultism and spirituality is something that simply I remember as soon as I get up on my feet. Even maybe before the school, I have interest for occult. I don't know how, but this is my priority thing in my life. And I must confess that in the beginning everything was cool. I perform rituals without knowing that it is a rituals. Talking with friends, imaginary friends as a child. Having a perfect magic and perfect success as a child. But later in my life, I drop point of success because I grow up and I start to read books, projecting that people who wrote that books are on much higher place than I am, and that I need to learn something so I can perform magic, which is opposite of what I am teaching today. The main point of magic, it's not to stay child, but to become a child again. The child have unique approach to magic, simply because there is no magic in child's life, only success and attainment. When you give the toy to child, it is totally irrelevant what they will do with that toy. When I have a Lego, you know, the Lego bricks, I always construct out of the manual. I never watch the manual and I play with Lego, and when I finish constructing, when I finish constructing with the Lego bricks, I finish ending my playing with it. constructing was my playing. I didn't play with Lego, I just construct. This is the same approach that I want to give you. There is nothing you need to learn about astral projection. Quite contrary, you need to unlearn the method of your mind, which is most important for your failures to achieve what we called lucid dreaming or out-of-body experience. I have a situation in my life which was a benefit. From the first day that I remember, I have lucid dreams. And it was, for you, it is a blessing, but believe me, it is a curse. And just imagine when you are a child and having nightmares, very horrific nightmares, and you're aware that you're dreaming, but without any possibility to escape from that dream. Because my mind, during the time, adopt immunity from my methods how to escape from a dream. And you will learn that part of that mind is very, very important for lucid dreaming and for if you want to explore occultism and spirituality much more. And you will see that diversement of that mind, which will stopping you and be your worst enemy in your experience, will be crucial to understand that it is you, not anybody else, who are doing all these tricks of diversion and dividing you from the right path. But let us continue with the subject of introduction. I have really luck in the beginning because it was spontaneous. I simply, whenever I come to sleep, even now, I don't have stopping and pause in consciousness. I'm stepping right directly to the dream, and the ending of my dream, it's always direct, without losing the awareness or consciousness. And in that time, I start to read books about the astral projection, you know, the billions of them. Sylvan Muldon, I don't know, Robert Bruce, and all other authors. And you know what? I start to think that my lucid dreaming was totally different experience about that they wrote in the books. And later I found out that 90% of that books simply, it's not practical true. Even now, when I really hard trying to prove some methods, it is simply impossible. Simply physically, mentally impossible. Like if you want to make love with your life, with your wife, and if you don't have erection, it will be impossible. No matter how much you try, simply it is impossible. You need to wait so your body will start, you know, to respond, to get horny and to get laid. Astral projection in the books is like having to get laid without erection. Simply, it's impossible. And the more stupid thing about it, the more it is impossible, more people are writing and reading about it. And then I realize something wonderful, that the more magnificent experience of enlightenment is, the less success people have and more talk about the wrong methods. In that time, my mother gave me a lot of support. You know, when I was in puberty, I started to buy spiritual books. Aleister Crowley, yoga, Buddhism, voodoo, Santeria, billions of subjects. And my father was having objection because, you know, when your child is starting to perform rituals and everything, you know, it is clumsy subject for such a parents, because for them I'm deluding from the path of the life. But my mother gave me the money always to buy books, and she loved me to experiment in this kind of things. And at the age of 17, my mother died. We were very, very close, very close. And sometimes, even now, I know that I'm still that child when I have 17, when simply time stop to go and to become old. I'm still that child, which give me a benefit and some curse. The benefit because I have this mechanism of child inside of me, so there is no need for me to read the book to know that I am still the part of the universe, so I can perform magic without doing the magic, and we will learn and talk about this mechanism. And somehow, I don't know, my mother died and left me with the knowledge that I must simply continue to work and to buy all these wonderful books that I have even now. And she gave me the most wonderful gift in that time, because my mother never grew up and she's still very young. And my mother don't have old, the people having the stamps, older stamps, like the mothers of my friends now. Some mothers and fathers have Alzheimer and, very difficult destiny and all, but my mother stay out of it. And I promised my mother, I remember that the day she died, I promised that while she is asleep, I will be awake. And somehow, in that moment, I make a curse on my being to be always awake. So, maybe it's a curse. Everything that I know, I will share with you. Will you accept it or not? We will talk about it, but I will just put everything on the table. And more than anything, I want you to realize what you are doing. What is the mechanism of your mind? So you will know what kind of nature you're dealing with. Is it a chance? Is it a religion? Is it a maybe coincidence? Or something else? Like in science, I want you every time to repeat experiment with the same results so you can have the same outcomes. Now, firstly, I want to express my sorry because I am doing, the dentist teeth, and my teeth have a problem, so I miss 2 teeth during this week. I will build my, I don't know how to say in English, the bridge. So sometimes I will have a problem with speaking, but nevertheless, I am ugly, and the more important is what we are speaking. Also, I just want in this 1 month to forget what you read. Not because the reading is bad, quite the contrary, but believing in what you are reading is bad. Expecting that you read something that those who write that is actually sending you some message for granted, taking for granted, is the wrong mechanism. Whatever I told you today, I want you to experiment, to doubt, to check, to see in which manner and in what level is it in your life. You will see later that some of the experience that we will sharing is exactly the same in others, but always having some individual parts which can be different. And I want you to experience that different, so you can see that that experience is adapting to you. Lucid dreaming is a process which literally makes your brain to work precisely as evolution is pushing us, but not you, because when you become lucid in your dream, you are getting out of evolution, because currently it's not supposed for human brain to be awake inside of a dream, and your nature will, like general of evolution, will stop you, because it wants you to go ahead, to go forward. Like in class in school, you will always have some pupils who are genius, but you don't want that, because if you pay attention to genius, then the rest of the class simply will not know how to do and what to do, because they don't know what you're talking about, except the genius. So this is the lucid dreaming. We are stepping out of our program, doing something which is maybe like opposition of thumb with the monkeys. Opposition of thumb in the monkeys show in that time that part of what we called monkeys becoming a human. And in that period, it was not so much good, because they didn't accept this opposition of thumb in the start in a good way. They need a couple of hundreds, maybe, I don't know in English the number, but a lots of time, so finally they can use a thumb in a different way, which is more human and less animal. The same exactly it's with lucid dreaming. Now, very important. You will see in the path of enlightenment, the more high and more difficult attainment is, you think you will have a more time to achieve it, right? When you are learning new skill, more time invest learning the skill, you will have a more benefit, more control. This is logical, which is totally opposite of what we have in magic. The most high attainment don't need a time at all. You need a presence, a moment, which we will learn it's not aspect of time. Time have seconds, minutes, but not moments. Moments are totally different, how to say, value of consciousness and awakeness than time had. Now, why I'm telling you this? Because when you sit trying to meditate, you will reach a point that more time you are sitting and relaxing, you will be more calm, more deeper in the trance. Your mind expecting that more you are meditating, you are more closer to enlightenment, which is wrong, and which is exactly why personally you don't know in this world anybody who achieved enlightenment. Buddha, when come under the tree, make a terrible oath for the first time in the history of spiritual, that he will not move from one place until he get enlightenment. Until he get enlightenment. Time. But the moment, seconds before his enlightenment, he had the same distance of that enlightenment than the time when he went under the tree. So, no matter how you want to have excuse to work a lot, to say, yes, I'm working hard, I sacrifice all my life into spirituality, you will be in the same distance of enlightenment, even if you don't work anything. This is the paradox of human enlightenment and human attainment, which we will talk exclusively during the end of this month. Why? This is the story. In medical terms, lucid dreaming is achieved in a period of a brain activity which is called rapid eye movement. This is the part of your dream when you are not sleeping, but dreaming. Dreaming and sleeping are totally two different patterns of your brain, which are having constantly exchange during what we call sleep. Now, the REM phase, or dreaming, or dream, it's in medical terms calling paradoxical state. Michel Jouvet was my friend, Frenchman who, you can Google it. He is a scientist and doctor who invent and discover the REM phase. And all this talk, when I was very young, I have letters between me and him, exchanging my experience with him. And he discovered one wonderful thing. This is exactly what he discovered. Now, as you look at me, your brain is functioning on a certain level of frequency. Usually we call that frequency beta frequency or wakefulness. Your mind constantly, from the first seconds of your awakening in the morning until you go to sleep, need to artificially bomb your cortex with specific kind of neurons so you can be awake. You can be awake. Nobel Prize was giving for that discovery because wakefulness, it's not your primary state at all. Your mind needs to artificially makes you awake. Like, you know, when you want to wake your child, you start to rubbing him and go, hey, Dushan, wake up, you need to go to school. This is exactly what your mind even now doing to your consciousness, bombing for attention. When your mind stopped for doing that, you are going to your sleep. Sleep is our natural state, and the universe of a dream is real, and you will see what kind of mind fuck story is behind all this during all this 1 month. So, what is paradoxical? Very simple. Your mind now works in a beta frequency. You are aware. Your mind have adrenaline and serotonin, which help you to realize my words into a logical sentence. You remember what you did last hour, what you will have in the next few hours. Your consciousness, you're awake, or just what we think that we are awake. The realization, it's quite the opposite. But when you go to sleep, you feel tired. Your brain starts to get slowly, and your attention starts to get slower. You go to bed, you close your eyes, and your brain in the dark start to produce melatonin, which is hormone totally opposite of serotonin, which is actively now in your brain, produced by the sunlight and the light. And your brain frequency get smaller and smaller. From beta, you are going to alpha. You reach the state which we call hypnagogia or trance, like, introductory to your dream. Your mind starts to lose yourself. You feel very pleasant, and soon you go into your sleeping state. Not dreaming, sleeping. This is exactly the most important part of all this story. When you reach the first 90 minutes after you go to sleep, nothing happened. You will not have dream, except only one thing which will give you exactly the dream after the sleep, and this is the daily nap. We will talk about it later, which is a golden mine for lucid dreaming and astral projection, but not now. So, during these 90 minutes, your brain will be almost dead. Very small mental activity. Brain will, even the breathing and your pulse will become very, very small. So, it is very natural to think that going to dream, it's resolving smaller and smaller brain activity, right? Well, wrong. When you reach a dreaming state, which is usually 90 minutes after primordial chaos and nothingness of your mental state, you will reach a state when your brain is working a double than in beta phase. So, why we are calling it paradoxical state? Because if your mind is doing more frequency, how then you don't realize that you're dreaming? From all mental activity, your brain, it's so predestined to enlightenment. You are the most smarten and wisest in your life. But still, from all that intelligent and brain activity, you are not aware that you're dreaming. You will have maybe some dreaming that you are princess, that you live in a castle, but how can you not realize that you are not fucking princess? This is paradoxical state. This is, in fact, the essence of all enlightenment state that we have in our life. It's paradoxical. When you think that you need time, you don't need time. When you think that you need hard work, you don't need a hard work. Everything is totally different than we think. Then the most important question is why it is so. What is the mechanism which deliberately want us to go with the wrong path? This is the most magnificent story of human mind which we get from our ancestors. This is the story which in fact will show that there is nothing wrong with your emotional disturbance. You know, when you expecting to have a nice night with the girl you meet for the first time or the boy, and when you go to the dinner expecting everything to be perfect, soon some silly thoughts will get inside of your head and you will see the boy in totally different color. You will feel something negative. And from that moment, everything will be destroyed. The paradise in the beginning, emotional paradise, will finish in totally emotional hell. This is what we call negative transfer in psychology. And it is a part of the brain which we will now discuss. I'm sorry for my English because this is very, very difficult subject. The paradoxical for me to talk about it because I have a lot to say but don't know how to say because English is not my primary language. But I think you can understand me. When we was in the dawn of the humankind, when we were monkey, the time schedule of our dreaming and wakefulness was quite smaller. Why? Because in that time, the animal, as monkey, was most harmed during the sleep. Why? Because the animal cannot run from predator when they go to sleep. But human mind invents something wonderful, which will prevent predator to eat you in that billions of years ago, even if you are sleeping. And this is what we called sleep paralysis. Our mind, in the most harmful moment of our life, when we are sleeping, living in totally different kind of universe, when animals are hungry, your mind will give you a dream that you eat food. When you are hurt, your mind will give a dream that you are now becoming better. But in that time, as you are dreaming and living another universe, which your mind will give you as a good mother to a very small child, a false illusion that everything is okay, everything will be under control. Just listen to your mother and stay in the house. Remember this mechanism. Listen to your mother and stay in the house. I will take care about you. In that time, that same mind, while giving you the dreams that child want when they are hungry, it will give a food. It will give a dream that you are eating. In the same time, your mind will take care that you will not be eaten while you are sleeping in very, very simple mechanism. You know that predators don't mostly, not all, don't eat dead body which they found, because they think it is full of poison. And this is the mechanism. Most of predators eat their prey by hunting, not by eating already dead body. So, your mind cut electrics from the neck to the down. Simply, you will be like dead body, without any chance to move. So when predator come to check if you are dead, usually it will start with the nose to push you. But if you are sleeping, you will not be moved. You will not sense the push because you will be paralyzed and your brain will not detect any sensation from the neck to the down. So, in that time, your brain start to take care for you. Why? Very simple. Without you, there will not be him. You will not be eating. You will not be fucking. You will not be taking all biological steps for you so you can be alive and your brain inside of you. So, he is creating an illusion that you and he is a pal, a body, and that you are in the same army. So, from all that carefulness that your mind will take care about you is in fact take caring for itself. You will know that there is somebody from you who are still living with the parents. You see the same mechanism when your mother will say, everything that I'm doing, I am doing for you. No, she is doing exactly what is good for her. but projecting and wanting for you to think that she is sacrificing everything for you. Now, this is not evil thing. It is simply automatic reaction from her. But please remember this part of webinar, because later in lucid dreaming, when we will talk about how you can move in your lucid dream, you will see the same mechanism of control. Deep control of your reactive mind, wanting everything for you and everything for your good, but in fact taking everything from you, not for you, but from you. This kind of control, it's exactly what always push us from lucid dream. If you ask practitioner of lucid dream how long usually lucid dream is, he will say, that's a specific kind of trouble, because 5 minutes and no more. Why? Because your mind, when see that you are awake inside of a dream, which your mind construct for you so you can feel good and pleasant in your dream, will reject you from a dream like a thorn from your body. Rejecting, like a foreign body, like a tumor, like a cancer, because awakeness in a dream not supposed to be. Because your mind, your reactive mind, create false illusion so you can enjoy when you are hungry, so you can eat as much as you can. But now when you are awake in your dream, when you are realizing that you are a dreamer, then the purpose of your mind is no more. A little bit like a Matrix story, but I don't want to push this because you will see it much more in your practical work. Remember this mechanism, because all time we will return to this mechanism of your mind wanting to help you, but in fact not helping you at all. This is sometimes when our children want to help us. My father, whenever I want to help him with the automobiles, just say, please don't, Dushan, don't help me, and you will help me in that way the most, because you don't know to do anything. And please don't touch anything and everything will be okay. This is the same mechanism, which is in fact the crucial in your lucid dreaming experience. You need not to do things. You need how to bypass things which are stopping you biologically to having some experience which is very natural, very simple to attain. Now, if you ask me how much time do you need for full astral projection or lucid dreaming or scrying, depends on approach. But in perfect occurrence, from the perfect wakefulness state like this until the full projection, for me, usually in the worst case, even if I'm in the traffic, in the autobus or airplane, 10 minutes, no more. 10 minutes, but not 10 minutes of working, because your mind always wants to ask me, but what you are doing? No. Doing is something which will diverse from attainment. You need what you need not to do. So you can, like shortcut, if you are playing a video games, every video games have a shortcut. Cheat. What you do in a game so you can have unlimited lives. This is exactly what we need. And you will see later the whole path of spirituality is in fact cheating. You don't need a time, effort, or work so you can have a success. You need only a realization that you already have it. That you already have it. This is the moment, aha effect, knowing that you already realize it, but you are not aware of it. I don't want to waste your time for a spiritual story. I know that you are warm from lucid dreaming and everything, but I want to stress, this is introductory first day, and I want you to get horny about all of this. For those who think that this is a mystical experience reserved only for talented people, I will return your money. There is no need for you on this webinar. Everything is so simple that we have urge to complicate it so we can ruin it. Like emotional life. Sometimes when you get a perfect boy or girl, everything is perfect, but you fucking ruin because you complicate. You cannot accept that somebody loves you more than life. You always ask why, how, in which manner. Simply relax and accept. Whatever it is, it is. Don't rationalize it. Don't scrutinize it. Don't destroy it. This is the moment, the presence. Whatever it is, it is. In Buddhism, Lord Buddha have a spiritual name which is speaking as Tathagata. Tathagata is suchness, meaning in Buddhism, whatever it is exactly as it is. So, whatever the Buddha is, he was enlightenment, not because he achieved enlightenment, but because he was enlightenment all the time. So, we are now going deeper into the talkings. And the last thing for now, I want to speak about this kind of, how to say, wrong strategy that we have. The wrong methods, techniques, which we just think help us, but in fact divert us more from the attainment. This principle of mind is crucial for the whole life misery. And if you understand this, then certainly your life will be much better. Maybe now it's 45 minutes. Let us having a break so I can prepare a new coffee, because my coffee is cold. I talk too much. And let us return 5-10 minutes maximum, so I can record everything and prepare for those who are not able to be here. So this is only introductory. Don't be afraid. We will talk practically. The whole webinar will be so full of practice that it will be too much for you. For now, we are just speaking something which occasionally I will always ask you to remember, and you will see why I will not destroy the trick. So 5 minutes if you are agree, and then we are returning. Okay?